Michelle. I go by the Chinook Crafter on my social media spaces, and my pronouns are she, her. And this is something new I'm trying called Finish It Finally. I'm workshopping the name, but Finish It Finally works for me. I was also playing around with FAFO finishing, you know, because this is how I go in towards things. But what is this? Who am I? Let's talk about that. So, my name is Michelle. My Instagram handle and my YouTube handle is Chinook Crafter. My pronouns are she, her, and it's mainly a space where I talk about my crafts, primarily cross stitch, though I've dabbled. And I've been doing it for a couple years, and I've got some finishes that we need to talk about. So what inspired this, honestly, is it's been noodling on my mind for a while, and that I have all these finishes that I do nothing with ever. I stitch and then I move on. Like, honestly, it's a celebration when I finish something because my little ADHD brain is always everywhere, right? And I was like, well, I was thinking what really the final straw, right? Circling back. So they talk about how there's two sort of stitchers, right? There's like process stitchers who are like, you know, start to finish. Is it process stitchers? I might be mistaking the names, right? But there's two types of stitchers. They're the ones that just enjoy the craft and like they just go off vibes, like they have no plans. They're just doing it for fun, which is definitely where I am. And then there's like the other type of stitchers who are like, I'm stitching this piece. I have a plan. I already have my, you know, everything picked out. I've got this, right? And those are the people that make really good model stitchers and designers, I think, because they stick to deadlines. They get stuff done. And honestly, that's more power to them. But like, what was my little like final like tipping point on the scale was where I was in the Canada chats, the Canada swaps chat, I guess is the best way to say it. Karen of the Stitching Owl runs a fantastic swap called Canada Swaps, and you've just missed the deadline for signing up for it. It's just as a FYI, but you should follow her floss tube. She talks about it. She's doing it with also the Twitchy Stitcher, who's also a Karen, and they're just, you know, wonderful. And Karen, the first Sunday of every month, hosts a little like video chat. I don't often always get to participate, you know, because of life and kids and work, but I love joining in because it's so fun to just connect with a whole bunch of people across the country and chat about stitching, you know, and like different perspectives and such than me. And Karen always runs a little fun game, which is always fun. She's so creative with these games. And you know, and this time around, I was up in my room because the kids were in the house, so I was upstairs, so I was like quiet space. And the challenge was like, it was all about like the finishes around you, like, you know, how many finishes are around you, are they filled? Like how many ornaments, how many, you know, X, Y, Z, right? And I think it was in my bedroom, I had 11 finishes, which you're like, okay, like why are you making a whole YouTube floss tube series about your finishes? You have 11 finishes in your bedroom. Like, girl, aren't you good? None of those finishes were by me. Every single finish that is hanging in my house right now was not stitched by me. Which I don't know if that says a lot I don't know what that says about me as a person. A lot of the wall hangings I have right now were ones that were stitched by my mother. Like, I'm not gonna, maybe at a different point, I'll go and do like a little video tour when I figure out a better system, right, of like what I have on my wall. But there's, I think, my kids' room has, I think, 4 or 5 cross stitches. 4 of them were done by my mother for like me and my sister. And then one is a Halloween witch that we got off my mom's neighbor before she moved because she's like, you like cross stitching, please go. I'm downsizing, go take a look, right? And my girls love Halloween, so I have this cutest little witch, right? So that's their room. My room has a bunch of soft displays, which I've gotten from stitching retreats, exchanges, and swaps, which is, and like random gifts of like random act of kindness. Actually, one is from Karen the Stitching Owl. And so that's not to say like, okay, I don't have finishes, because clearly I participate in the swaps and exchanges. I just don't have my own finishes. I have nothing in the basement other than just, in the basement, I have some Christmas ornaments packed away. So they exist, but they're packed away, so they're not on display. So I've got 3 stitched by me and 1 stitched by an exchange. Yeah. Okay, so there I am. So that's 4 holiday ornaments, 3 by me, 1 by somebody else. So 3 finishes, ornaments, go me. And then I have down here, I've got 2 more retreats, like not retreats, cross stitch swaps. And then I've got like, I think 7 or 8 cross stitches on the walls, which you can kind of see the little gallery right back there, but they're not by me. What happened was, so I got 2 more from my mom from Well She Stitched. And then I buy these like lots of like vintage magazines or like whatever, like on Facebook Marketplace, Kijiji, whatever. And a lot of times it's from people like estate sales or people who are retiring stitching. And so I get other people stitching a lot. And so sometimes I keep them if they're already framed and they're cute, they're up on my wall. And sometimes I'm like, I've donated them to people that like make bags out of like things like that. So I've passed the stash on like that. I've rehomed them like, hey, you like this thing? I have this thing. Please take it. So I have like a few things done like that. But for the most part, I am just swimming in finishes I haven't done anything with. So I thought this has been noodling in my mind, is like, I work best when there's a slight expectation upon me. Like I need a little external motivation / validation to do things, which is why obviously retreat exchanges and swaps work for me to actually finish the thing, because there's an expectation. There's not like a huge consequences, but there's an expectation. So I thought to myself, okay, I got a lot of stitches. I'm gonna try and commit to doing 1 finish a month. 1 finish a month. And then film a little thing about it where I talk about it, what I learned, what I did, things like that. And sometimes that's what it is. I'm also gonna try and maybe like vlog the process a little bit. We'll see what happens. So yeah, I was originally gonna premiere this in June, but then I was a little bit sick and some stuff happened. We're gonna talk about that too. So I knocked off 3 off my list already. I did not stitch any of these, but they were finishes that need to be done. And the easy way I did is I mailed them to my friend who was seeing Kaylee of the sewing shop, and she made them to bags. So this is something, in theory, I could do myself. I would potentially try doing it myself, but that isn't necessarily what I want to do. So maybe this is a little bit of an ad for Kaylee right now, a little surprise content. But this one, I did not stitch this bag. I also talked about this in my main floss too, but I'm just gonna talk about it again, right? This is a beautiful cross stitch. I could have framed it, but I have a lot on the wall. I didn't stitch this. I have no personal connection to this to spend the time framing it, but it's beautiful. Like, look at this little gray kitty in the flowers. And Kaylee did this wonderful finishing. So she has, like, she put these ribbons down on the side, which is an idea I'm gonna keep in mind. And she just has this beautiful printed fabric that looks like it was like, almost pieced together. A nice zipper with a little gray kitty cat bag. I stitch a lot of cat patterns, so this is perfect. The second one I sent to her was one I really liked. I was thinking about framing this one, but there was no margins on it. And again, quite hefty bag. Kaylee uses a bunch of different textured fabrics too. It's one of those things where I'm like, I can sew straight lines, but then all of a sudden we've got like these, it's more 3D than just 2 things squared together. And she's done the inset pouch. She's done like a loop. She does zippers so nicely. I can't do zippers this nice. I think because she has a serger. Maybe I should look at getting a serger. We'll find out. Right, so she did those 2. And then the last one was my tarot deck one, which was from a swap. This one was a nice swap. It was low pressure. You just sent them the stitched piece and then they could do whatever they want. So my friend Megan stitched me the Empress on a piece of Kaylee fabric, and then I mailed it back to Megan to give to Kaylee to make me a bag. And this just has my trading deck in it. Yeah, and so so it's just like, this isn't like it's a cross stitch bag for non-cross stitch purposes. I just have my trading deck in it. So if you do tarot and trading decks, I am always interested in doing a trade. You'll get something. But it's nice because I feel like it's an upgrade, because my trading deck is all cards I've traded with friends who got me into tarot, and then I traded cards with them. And now I have it in a bag that was a joint effort between 2 of my friends and a swap organized by my 3rd. So I just like, it's a special thing. And it's me trying to think of like ways to finish cross stitch that aren't, on the wall. I think that's one of the reasons too I always struggle with my cross stitch finishes, because I feel like a lot of cross stitch finishes are in hoops or in picture frames, which are good choices. I just hate with a fiery passion whip stitching the hoop closed. It's not my thing. It is a thing that I will do sometimes, because especially some designs are round, so they just really complement the round hoop finish. It's just, I really, really hate. And it's an experience thing. Like, I feel like I just don't get the spacing right. My stitches look a little bit sloppier, and I'm just like, And so, I mean, obviously that's a sign that this is something I'm struggling with, and maybe I should challenge myself with a few more hoop finishes, right? And then frame finishes. I love a good frame finish. But there's like this magical alchemy of a frame finish where you have to get the right frame for the right stitch in the right size. And I have 3 bins of thrifted frames in my basement. I have frames, but they don't match the size of the stitching, or they don't match the buy. I've gotten lucky that I've been able to frame quite a few bit of my art prints from like mail clubs and just general art in frames. So I mean, I am getting art on my walls. I'm just not getting my cross stitches up on the walls. But that is something I am going to be actively working towards. I think half my problem is I need to organize my frames better by size, and then look at my stitches a little bit more and like go from there, and work on that too. I framed one thing that I did for a swap. I actually really liked how it turned out. And it was such a struggle because those are fat little sandwiches, right? Because like there's a couple different ways. You can lace it, you can pin it, and the materials. I think I need to get like a thinner foam mat board and go from there. So that is on my list of things. Like, I do have things I think could fit into frames, but it's a matter of figuring out that process. And also, I will totally count it if I take one of these to like a framing shop and be like, here you go. Like, that will count for a month finish because I still got it done. Like, will I try and do like more than one that month? Probably, but I still think it counts if I get it done, because I'm going through this pile. This pile is going to diminish. And like I said, I was trying to start this in June, and I do have a finish. It's a cute little pillow, right? And I did try to vlog this process, and we're gonna talk about that because I think it's funny. I'm switching closer. Right, so this one is gonna be less about the stitching and more about the process. Like, if you want me to talk more about the stitching, it's on my floss tube. I can talk about the pattern and things like that. I wanna talk more about the technical process here. So, it's a lace trimmed pillow. I've never added lace. I've sewn pillows before, because I can mostly handle straight lines, and then if you flip, and then when you flip it, most of your sins are hidden. The lace was a challenge. I'm actually very happy. Like, some of these corners, right? Some of these corners turned out well. Not this one up here, but the other 3 corners turned out pretty well. And what I did was I watched so many tutorials about this, and like, obviously I learned, because like, I think that like, so the lace is sewn inside. So like, I'm gonna show them the nice side here, right? Like, it's sewn nicely into the sandwich. It's mostly even sticking out. It's amateur. It is amateur. But like, for a first attempt at sewing lace, I'm happy with this. I did, like I said, I was going to try and do a whole vlog thing with this. The day I was sewing this together, it was a bajillion degrees. I had to unplug the AC unit to plug my sewing machine in, just because where things are situated, because we have a portable AC unit. And it was hot, and I was sweaty, and I was getting grumpy because, you're trying something new. It doesn't work out so well, right? So a lot of my, like, I'll give you a reaction. Here's my sewing. Why are you making that sound? Okay, rip, okay. Dang it, I didn't catch the lace. Rip. I think it took me like an hour and a half to sew this pillow. Yeah, and a lot of that is, I am good enough at my sewing machine to load it up and sew. I am not so good enough to do things more than that, and my troubleshooting is a lot of looking at my phone and going, okay, when your machine makes this sound, blah, blah, blah. Okay, it's nesting and I've changed the bobbin, like, why is it still nesting? Okay, right? Like, so that's not very interesting to watch, right? And like, it's a learning curve, which is why I did it on a pillow. My other problem was, because I cut the one side of this a little on the tiny side. That's okay though. And then the other side, it was not catching and the fabric started to fray a little bit. I had to go back in here and hand sew it just to keep it from really fraying. And so there's a couple sections where I got to a point where sometimes the lace just wasn't catching, and so I just went in and like hand sewed it down because like the integrity of the fabrics were being challenged. And yeah, so I learned a lot. I think the next time, if I was I actually do really like how cute the lace is. The next time I would do this is I would sew the lace down to one side of the pillow and then sew the pillow together rather than trying to do it all in one go, which is what the tutorials I were watching were doing. However, they were more experienced than me and they were not, you know, it made sense for what they were doing. If you can do this in one go, it works. I think for my sanity would be to sew it all. And like, I'm still really proud because like I had to combine two different tutorials to like miter this lace at the corner so it like fluffs out so nicely. Like it does like, and you know, I've got the double lace effect here, like, So yeah, this was my first finish of this challenge I've set myself. You know, sometimes small, sometimes big. And yes, it's a pillow. I don't know that you could say so much about a cross-stitching pillow, right? Like, congratulations, new achievement. You sewed 4 straight lines. Reward, cross-stitch pillow. Right? And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, like I said, I miss the Twisted Stitcher because I used to watch her tutorials and things. And there's still like a bunch of other cross-stitch, you know, things. And like, they're so calm, collected, and then you're just gonna sew a straight line, and then you flip it and you poke it, and there you are. Here's your pillow. And then I came up with this. And I think the other thing too is with these pillows is like a lot of reasons why these aren't finished is finding the right fabric, right? Because like this is cute little heart fabric, it fits perfectly with this. I got it in a bag of cheap fat quarters from a garage sale. So perfect, right? And a lot of times, like I needed like a 5x5 square fabric to finish this. That's probably what I need for a lot of these, but they don't sell you 5x5 fabrics. Like maybe you get some charm packs, right? But I think that is the another holdback is just not having quite the right materials and not wanting to invest in a fat quarter fabric for a square that big. And like, I don't think we have any like finishers in Calgary or like Alberta even per se. Cause I know I watched some American like floss tubers and like needlepoint workers and things like that. And there's a whole secondary like business where you give stuff to like the LNS or like there's a person and they'll do, here's your pillow with a cute like heart accent and you know, and they do all these like little extra finishing touches and they're adorable and they're so cute. And I definitely look at those and I try and draw like aesthetic inspiration from that, but it's hard because if this is your home business or like business, whatever, right? You have, you know, you have all this fabric, you know, you're not just buying a piece of heart fabric for one finish, you know you're gonna use it multiple times. You know, if you buy a thing of ribbon, you know you're gonna use it multiple times. Like this was this purple lace was from a trim pack. So there was like various like trims and like a bundle of trims. And they're all like, you know, I wanna say they were all a foot long or 2 feet long, like, you know, a very small selection of trim. And that was perfect for somebody like me, right? But if I didn't have this purple lace, I was gonna have to go and try and find, you know, a perfect complementary lace. And then you have to buy the whole thing for one finish, which is why it holds off. So I've already selected what my attempted finish for July is going to be. It's another piece I haven't stitched for myself. It's from my mom's old neighbor when she moved. I got these 2 beautiful flowers. I actually think one of these is unfinished. Sorry, I know there's like some missing stitches on one of them. Like she did the line over and she didn't go cross back. It caught my eye the first time. Now I can't find it now that I'm talking about it. But I know there's like some imperfect stitches in here, which is fine because it adds to the charm, right? And she's not like me. She gives very generous samples. So I was thinking like with these, like, right? Like, you know, I was thinking at first like maybe potpourri or like things like that. But I have all these frames I get from Value Village that are like double-sided. And this one has, and like these ones folded up nicely will be like a really nice frame in that. Like, do you see this vision? Just like on my like makeup table sort of area. Problem is I only have glass in the one side, so I'll probably take off the glass anyways, just to make the framing easier. And then I have to figure out how to lace it, because there's this cardboard board in there, which I don't think is going to be the call. I think I should, because it's corrugated. But like, I know the whole deal is like you fold these over, you lace them. Yeah, like, wow, it's like, right? Just like something like that, plopped into there. Like, I think that would be a thing. And it's a good way for me to practice my lacing and, you know, supplies for framing. It's not the most exciting idea, but it is my idea. And at the same time, I also have a hand-me-down brush and mirror from my grandma that have florals on it. So I think I can make like a cute little like display, right? Of just that. So that is my plan for July. Now, I just want to show you what we're working with here. Sorry, my partner came back about 15 minutes earlier than I was expecting him. So I was like, what are you doing back? I'm filming. That's okay. I'm near the end anyways. Because like I said, I want to show you what I'm working with. These are all my cross stitch finishes. Yeah, I need some space in this. My choice is to finish or get a second roll. Yeah, so I've got, I don't even know how many in here. A lot of these are just waiting for frames or for me to have a little bit of courage, if that makes sense. When I say courage, it's like I get a little scared of experimenting. Like, I have ideas for how to finish these, but then I'm like, I'm a little anxious of how it will finish out. You know, like I want it to be like this picture perfect idea, right? I actually want to redo my 2 Christmas ornaments from 2025 because they worked, but I want to do them better. Like, for example, I have this little cutie pie. It's the 2 marshmallows. And my original idea was to make it like a teeny tiny round marshmallow drum. I thought that'd be so cute. And then I just didn't get there because I've never sewn a drum before. And I was, yeah, sorry, I'm just like trying to fold it up to show my bit. And it's not like, you know, it's not traditional drum size, it's a little bit small, but like, wouldn't that be the cutest little hanging ornament if it was like a little drum and it all fat and round, it was marshmallows. And there's a lot of them, like, trying to see. Okay, for example, this one here is one that I think should be a hoop finish. Like, how can that not be a hoop finish? It is round. I just haven't mustered the enthusiasm to do a hoop finish. I'm trying to figure out, this is another. This one here is another one I want to be a hoop finish because, again, it's round. This one I want to do in the picture frame. I just have to find the right frame. Okay. This one I kind of want to do as a stand-up doll, but then Coordinator Creations has been releasing a lot of other ones. So like, I like things to match, and it won't quite match if she keeps doing that to me. These are some of my earliest finishes. Yeah, this is like one of my first projects. Don't ask me what I was thinking doing this. This is what I did. And this is one of my other first ones. Okay, someone's mine. We're gonna just finish this, right? And I have sewn fabric onto them. Because I think with both of these, I meant to make wall hangings. Like, you know, fold it over and hang. Didn't interface either of these because I didn't know that was a thing. I think it's probably a little bit too late to add interfacing. Let me know what you think. But yeah, with both of these, I thought I would just like fold over and like stick a dowel through, and you know, I think I was gonna stick a dowel through and put like cute little buttons, and that was gonna be my finish. And like I said, I have an excessive stack of these that I have no idea what to do with, but it does not bring me joy that they are all shoved up in here for safekeeping and I don't get to see them. Like, I want to appreciate the art I've done or have gotten from other people. So that is the whole point of why I'm trying to do this series, is a little bit of motivation, maybe a little bit of guidance or cheerleaders to reduce the size of this roll. This roll is never going to be empty, but I would like it to close a little bit better. So yeah, thanks for watching this little short. And if you saw one that you think I should try next for August, let me know. Okay, bye everyone.